All right, Dave, this is behind the scenes. So what are we doing? I'm filming right now.
Welcome back, guys, to the CyberRoadster build. I've been gone for a long time. I had to take a little break. I'm finally at the point where I don't need to do any kind of brainstorming other than, get to work and finish this thing off. For example, the main thing is the body work. There's a lot of body work to do over here. So what I did was all the welds, I grinded them down using these wheels right here. I used about 4 of these. And then after that, I'm gonna use the 60 grit flap discs on the grinder. I'm gonna go through all the surface, all the bare metal surface. All right, so check this out. The CyberRoadster is pretty much ready to get primered. What I want to do is first I want to primer everything, then start the body filler. I used 12 of these flap discs right here, just go through everywhere. And obviously you cannot get it 100%, especially where the welds are. In between, it's almost impossible, right? So what I'm going to do is the next step, I'm using this right here. Metal prep, I'm gonna spray on the entire surface and especially where the welds are, kind of get it in there, and it says so I'm supposed to keep it on for about 10 to 20 minutes, and then next is the degreaser. I'm gonna wipe it down with the degreaser. No, what the hell am I talking about? So I'm gonna keep this on for 10 to 12 minutes, wipe it off, sand it down, then I'm gonna use the degreaser, wipe everything thoroughly with the degreaser, just then I'm ready for the epoxy primer. So let's get to work. All right, so check this out. After about, I wanna say close to 8 hours. So what I did was, what the hell did I do? Hold on. What I did was I first started off with this metal prep. You gotta spray this on everywhere, and basically, what I would do is I would take the spray bottle, I would spray everything, like all the seams, all the welds, and as it's wet, I take a wire brush to really, really get it in there, and then basically it dries up pretty quick, and there's like a whitish residue on the car. So then I had to sand down the car again, then I put a wire brush on the grinder, and then I grinded everything down just like crazy. I really took my time on every square inch. And then, I used the drill, that wire brush, there was like 3 of them that went out completely. Those bristles flying everywhere. Looked like I had a bunch of spears in me. Anyway, so now, and then after that, I took a really good degreaser, degreased everything completely. Not only on the outside, but the inside as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from the inside, and then I'm gonna work my way out. And basically any bare metal, I have to get primer on it. And what it is, it's actually it's a North Star epoxy primer, really strong, pricey stuff, but this is literally the strongest stuff you can find on the market right now. So, all right, so let's mix up the primer. Let's get started. That 10 ounces I mixed, I only did the passenger rear quarter, this side, on the inside. I mean, I got it so much in there, it's like running all over the place. I want to make sure it is dipped in this primer. Let's mix up some more. All right, as you can see, there's a lot of primer on that. I put on this car a total of 64 ounces of primer. That's a lot of primer. More than half of that was actually on the inside. I mean, I had it running like crazy. That was the idea, just to soak this thing, kind of just pretty much like the car's dipped in primer. Put in about 12 hours today. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. Actually more than 12 hours, probably like 14. But anyway, I am beat. Next step is basically, it's gonna start, you know, the body work, the Bondo, the body filler. And that's gonna be fun, but the car's finally starting to, you know, come through, like show what it's actually gonna be. I did the doors as well. They were laying right here. I took them, and time to get out of here. So after the epoxy primer, it's been about 6 or 7 days. It gets kind of hot in here in this shop, so it's just been standing. I sprayed so much primer, it was 66 ounces of epoxy primer on this thing. And most of it is basically the rear end, right? There's a little bit here on this pillar, but it was basically all back here and from behind as well. I was spraying so much that it was just pouring. I literally dipped the car, right? So the next step, we started sanding it down. So since all these are just body panels that I made up, I'm gonna go with this to make sure none of this cracks. I mean, this body's really strong. This body is super strong, right? Right now, the way it is, the skin itself is 19 gauge, right? The outer body panels normally are about, I think it's like 22 to 24 gauge steel. So that flexes like crazy. Right now, sand it down, knock down some high spots, low spots from the inside where I can reach it. And, you know, like I said, start off with this kitty hair, give it a nice coat on all of this, basically all of this, knock it down, see where I got some high spots, low spots. Okay, we got a good spot that we sanded down. Let's start putting on the kitty hair. Okay, so when I was working in that bigger shop, that was a big shop, and I did 2 days of body work with the kitty hair, and I did the primer before then. The whole shop was covered. It was like it was snowing in the shop, right? So I was like, okay, I'm coming back to this shop. I can't do that in here. So I made this right here. This is 11 2x4s, I think, 13 2x4s. So made this thing, put some plastic on, and I made basically like a vacuum. Right now, see, this is kind of bubbled up because the AC is working, but the fan that's pushing the air out is not on. So when I'm sanding, doing anything, I turn it on. You come out here, you don't smell anything. There's no dust, nothing like that. There's only dust from when I actually come out. So check this out. The car, as you see, that's 10 days of body filler work. Come over here. This right here, this is basically my office in the meantime. As you can see, very organized right there, down the drain. So the kitty hair, what I did was I started with the kitty hair. I did 2 days of this. Not the best stuff to work with. It holds really good, but not the best stuff to work with because of the way it spreads. It's like, imagine if you're in the shower, right? You shave your hair, and you pick up all that hair, and you know it's all wet, and you try to spread it, right? When you try to spread it, it just pulls all the hair along. It's like a tedious process. That's what I did on the whole car in 2 days. In 2 days, basically, I had to cover all the metal, and then I used about 2 gallons of that. Obviously, not all that stayed on. A lot of shaving down because it was really wavy at some points. And then after the kitty hair, I used this glass fiber, some generic stuff. But surprisingly, that stuff spreads really easy. This is short strand, not the long hairs. This is very long hairs, short strands. Spreads really easy. Anyway, I did that. That's about 3 gallons of that. Took a lot off. And then I'm moving on to this Rage Gold Evercoat. This right here, I'm telling you, if anybody does body filler type work, you can imagine what this job is, what I'm doing right here. It's mind-blowing how much tedious work is involved in here. So using this Evercoat stuff, it goes on really good, really easy. Sometimes I use this plastic honey, kind of thins it out. Makes it almost like a, I want to say glazing putty, but the stuff sands like a dream. I'm telling you, if you get it within that time frame, there's like a window that's about 10 minutes. You can sand it. It's almost like sanding foam or something like that. It sands really, really good. This right here, this probably saved me 3 days, that stuff. Anyway, as you can see how I dial it in, this part is not 100%. Like for example, this wheel well right here, see it still needs to get dialed in here, here, here. But this side is really close, really close. This right here, this is gonna be like an insert. It's gonna go all the way to here. This trim is supposed to continue here, and this trim will overlap it like this. So it'll kind of go like that. It'll look nice. So this right here there's gonna be, the autopilot camera. That's why I'm gonna just make this all in one piece, and the autopilot camera is gonna be like maybe like a round or square piece of glass right here. The rest will be just ABS plastic. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Like I said, anybody who messed with body filler, this is ridiculous, right? So I'm basically making a car from body filler. For example, this design, the way this flows in here, and this is supposed to be like a straight line for both the windows. And then you got to remember, this right here flows into this line, right? If you mess up over here just a little bit, you're messing with this. You're taking away from this. And then, same thing here. Imagine trying to mimic that on the other side. That's what I've been dealing with. And then the spoiler, go over there, from over there. I'm gonna turn this light off. This spoiler, this is really close to dialed in. It has a sharp edge right now, but that's what you're supposed to do. And then you kind of round it. Can you see it? Can you see how it's rounded like that? Yeah. That's, if you look at any Tesla, this part right here where it has the T emblem, this is pretty much what it looks like right here. This side right here, as you can see, very rough looking, but it's pretty close. This green stuff is the short strand stuff, and I basically started using the Evercoat already, transitioning over here. I learned a lot from that side, so I think as I go on to the other side, I kind of get a little quicker at it. This right here, for example, this design, there's the tail light that will continue the flow, and it tapers out, right? This side, I know this side right here, this to me was a major pain right here to get this, because if the more I go this way, it'll make this line kind of like lopsided right here. If I go too much here, it'll dip down too much. yeah, it's still messing with that. This is like 95%. This is like 95%. And this thing right here, what's going on with this? Why isn't it, oh, it's unplugged. Anyway, this thing right here, I would take this and then shake this very slowly, very slowly. Then I take my sanders. I got a bunch of different ones. This little one right here, I sit here, just shape it like this, shape it. And you can imagine if you were using like cheap Bondo, cheap body filler, how much more difficult it would be to shape these kind of things. So definitely, the Evercoat, I'm telling you, that thing saves, that thing's a lifesaver. And then after the Evercoat, I'm gonna use Evercoat glazing putty as well. This stuff right here, Easy Sand. So this stuff is like 60 bucks versus the cheap stuff that's like 20 bucks. So you can imagine, you get what you pay for. When this work is going on in here, I'm covered like from head to toe in this stuff. It's nasty. This right here physically is the hardest part of this entire build. I brought in a couple guys, bodywork guys in here. I would take pictures, videos, and just curious like what somebody would charge to do this type of work. Some people didn't even give a price. They're like, we can't even take this on. And the reason for that is there's no body like this. It's like, what do you go off of, right? Like, what are you even doing? Like, how high is this supposed to go? Where's this supposed to go? And nobody wants to take it on. And to be honest, if somebody was to take it on, I don't think I would even trust them. You know what I mean? Like, after all the work I've done, right? And they do something that's not right, that would be devastating to me, you know, at the end of this job, right? And so I trust myself the most with this. So that I didn't do much videotaping on this because this is a extremely dirty job. See you on the next one. Peace.